Are you fed up by looking in the mirror and not seeing the results from the gym that you want to see? Or maybe you just avoid mirrors altogether and are really ready to start making some changes to really get the physique that you want. If that sounds like you and you want to get ahead of 99% of other guys' physiques, luckily it's been easier than ever. The National Institute of Health shows that 3 in 4 American adults are overweight or obese, and 1 in 3 don't get the recommended levels of physical activity that they should. So just making a few tweaks to your training performance, nutrition plan, and recovery plan is going to catapult you way past other people. So in this video, we're gonna go over the 3 biggest mistakes stopping you from packing on muscle, shredding off fat to get to that 6-pack abs, and getting you into that top 1% of male physiques, and maybe even catapult you even further. Before we begin with the mistakes, we should probably define what a 1% physique is, especially since looks are so subjective. So in this video, I'm gonna consider a 1% physique as someone who's put on about 15 to 20 pounds of muscle above the average and is lean enough to see their abs year round, kind of pushing towards a natural bodybuilder physique and living their life at a totally achievable body fat level year round. So with that being said, let's start with mistake number 1. So for mistake number 1, we're gonna start off by playing a little bit of a game. Let's head over to my gym and I'm gonna play 2 sets, A and B, and you're gonna guess which one is probably better for muscle growth and tell me why. If you're confident in your answer, go ahead and place them down in the comments. So let's start with set A. And now set B. So when looking at these, which one do you think is better for building muscle? If you chose B, you'd be correct. As a reward, here's a clip of a really cute puppy. So for my 12 years in the gym, the most common mistake that I've seen is really the guys not pushing themselves hard enough. Many people think that they're pushing themselves like they are in set B and just can't get another rep in the tank, but they're really more lifting like set A. Just keep in mind that your brain has some natural limiters that wants you to stop physical activity when it hurts to prevent injury, because back when you're living out in the wild, an injury could spell certain death. However, in a safe, air-conditioned gym, as long as you're keeping good, proper form, injuries are pretty much almost a non-issue. So with this in mind, I issue you a challenge and I throw down my gauntlet at you. I challenge you to only do 1 set per exercise. Yes, just 1. So you better make sure that it's a good one. So push yourself to absolutely, total, 100% undeniable failure. If you hit the point where you feel like you can't do another rep, push anime levels of deep and keep pushing until it can't even move an inch, even if I were gonna give you $1 million and a high five. However, if you don't correct this next mistake, all that pain and effort might mostly go to waste. So for mistake number 2, let's look at 2 numbers. The first number is gonna be negative 3,500, and this number is gonna make you feel happy and fulfilled. However, the other number, 1,250, is gonna make you feel frustrated, sad, and miserable. But how could the negative number be better? Aren't bigger numbers always better? Well, let me explain. Imagine you have a set of 7 boxes, and each box is worth negative 500 points each. Across all 7 boxes, all of your points should total up to negative 3,500. Now let's take a look at another set of the same 7 boxes, and we add the same negative 500 to each, but in the very last box, we instead have 1,250 points, instead giving us negative 1,750. Now, how did we get these numbers and why are they relevant? So imagine each of these boxes is actually a day of the week, and each number shows how many calories are eaten relative to the maintenance for that day. So if there's a negative number, it means that you ate in a calorie deficit, leading to weight loss, and any positive number means that you overate for weight gain. So let's say that the first set of boxes belongs to Ted. As you can see, Ted eats in a 500 calorie deficit relative to his maintenance every single day, and at the end of the week, he burns a total of 3,500 calories, which is exactly the amount of calories in 1 pound of fat per week. A perfect rate of fat loss for the majority of the population, and this makes Ted really happy. Now let's pretend the second set of boxes belongs to his friend Ned. Ned eats just like Ted throughout the week, burning fat at an amazing pace, but then he makes a critical error that so many people make. On the weekend, Ned decides he deserves a cheat day. After all, 1 free day out of the week can't be that harmful, right? However, Ned, as the kids say, is about to f around and find out. Ned eats all of his favorite foods and he gets to his maintenance calories pretty early throughout the day, erasing his daily 500 calorie deficit for that day. But then Ned makes that big critical error. At dinner, Ned decides to stop at everybody's fast food place, McDonald's. He picks up a Big Mac, large fries, and a Coke, totaling around 1,250 calories above his already maintenance calories at the end of the day. This extra 1,250 calories cuts into Ned's hard work throughout the week, slashing his weekly deficit burn to negative 1,750 calories throughout the week, meaning he only lost a total of half a pound per week instead of the 1 pound he was pacing on all of the other 6 days of the week. When Ted and Ned meet again, Ned complains that he just can't lose fat anywhere near as fast as Ted, and that Ted must have an unfair faster metabolism than him. Moral of the story, even one really bad day can severely sabotage your gains in the long run if done repeatedly. If you do want to have a day where you eat all those unhealthy foods that you've been craving, just make sure that that day's calories is at your calorie deficit goal or at maintenance to, at worst, just pause your gains for a day, and then you can jump on the wagon again the next day and start burning instead of having to make up ground. This way, you can be soaring all the way to 1% abs unless you make this next critical mistake that might wipe out your gym and your dieting progress if not done correctly. What if I told you that scientists created a new wonder supplement called Sigma Gains 10,000? If you took it, it would potentially boost your muscle mass gain twice as much as steroids would, help increase your strength, increase your endurance, blunted your hunger, and helped you recover more quickly from the gym, along with a bajillion other health benefits, all with no downsides. Would you take it? I think you'd be pretty crazy not to. But what if I told you that this supplement actually does exist and 40% of adult Americans choose actively not to take it? So what is this magic supplement? To be fair, I lied a little bit. It's not actually a supplement. Just replace the name Sigma Gains 10,000. I really should have chose a different name. With the term sleep. I know it sounds nowhere near as interesting as Sigma Gains 10,000, but the effects of a good night's sleep on your gains cannot be understated. Take this 2010 study, for example, where researchers divided participants into 2 groups with the same calorie deficits, meaning both groups should lose the same amount of fat during the study. One group only slept 5.5 hours on average, and the other group slept 8.5 hours per night. After the study concluded, the researchers found that the lower sleep group lost 55% less fat and lost 60% more muscle than the 8.5 hour group. But if you're serious about moving out of the 99% and into the 1%, sleep needs to be a top priority, and really make sure that you're getting a quality 7 to 9 hours every single night, if not more if you feel like you need it. As you advance towards your 1%, making amazing gains after training really hard, making sure that you don't have too many cheat days, and getting amazing sleep, you might find that your gains actually start plateauing as you reach intermediate and advanced stages of your career. So to make sure that your gains don't plateau or stall out as you become more advanced, click on this video here if you're interested in learning about more information about how you can keep gains going throughout your intermediate and advanced lifting career so your gains don't stall out or plateau.